We are live.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We are here for a very, very special evening.
I got it.
Uh, there,
All right.
there we are.
There we are.
I'm joined today by, of course, Daniel Jacob Horine, the artist behind Pop Fly Pop Shop, and then joining us this evening as well is the 25-year Major Leaguer, 1986 All-Star, and the Butterfly King himself, Charlie Hough. Charlie, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Fun to be here. I was just trying to figure out little high tech stuff for me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate, definitely. It's always a struggle sometimes,
Yeah.
but so glad to see you and glad to have you here. And can't wait to talk baseball with you. There's so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
cool
That's what it
questions
is.
I have. Exactly. So, um, Daniel, do you want to go ahead and bring up the artwork that you've created for Charlie here?
Do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
I love this one. And before we went live, Daniel and I were talking about how, Charlie, you've got some connections to both of us. Daniel is, of course, a lifelong LA Dodgers fan, and I am sitting just a stone's throw from the Globe Life field in Arlington, Texas. So, two of the teams that you spent a good chunk of your career with, and can't wait to dive in a little more about that.
Yeah. Had some fun times there. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to start with is you were drafted by the Dodgers straight out of high school and spent a few years with them as a reliever, but it was really the Texas Rangers who converted you into a starter and kind of helped you polish the knuckleball. And I would love it if you could share that story of how you became a knuckleballer with everyone
Wow.
watching.
Yeah. Really, really kind of a lucky deal for me. I was a regular pitcher, probably what you'd say average guy. I was in double A at 19, and my shoulder was killing me. I
Hmm.
had won uh, 16 games that year in '67, and my shoulder had started killing me. And I pitched the next 2 years, not very well in Double A with a sore arm, and went to our instruction. And one of our coaches, just I was playing catch with another pitcher, and then one of our coaches walked up and said, "Hey, have you ever tried to throw a knuckleball?" And I had a ball in my hand. I said, "Show me how." And he showed me a grip. I played catch for maybe 5 minutes, and I threw one that didn't spin. And I stopped and I said, "I can do that. That's not that hard." And the manager of the team was Tommy Lasorda. And I told him, I said, "From now on, I'm going to try throwing a knuckleball." And he said, "Well, you better, because you got nothing else." And that was it. I mean, I became a knuckleball pitcher that day.
Wow.
And yeah, and he gave me a chance. I pitched in the instruction league. I pitched in that instruction league for a little bit that winter, and went to spring training. And Tommy was the AAA manager then, and he kept me on the team for some reason. I don't know why, but he did. He gave me a chance.
That's a really cool story.
Yeah,
I love these types of things where it's like a coach kind of sees something in a player that the player doesn't necessarily see in themselves and says, "Hey kid, you're making your life a lot harder than it needs to be. Have you ever thought about maybe trying it this
yeah.
way?" And it just kind of
Something
works
easy
out.
to do, right? Yeah,
Yeah, right.
perfect.
So you had literally never heard of the knuckleball before that
Well,
day. And
I had heard of it. I had
sure.
never tried to throw one. The only thing that I had seen on it was watching Hoyt Wilhelm when he was with the Orioles, and I was growing up in Miami area. I could see the Orioles in spring training, and I saw him pitch. So my only thought of it was, well, wind up like Hoyt Wilhelm, throw like him.
Do you think that throwing a knuckleball, it obviously takes a different set of skills from a guy who's just trying to throw the ball 107 miles an hour. Do you think that's kind of what allowed you to have such a long and successful career?
Well, obviously throwing the ball real hard as the kids do today. I mean, everybody's throwing really hard and it does break down your arm. I broke down my arm very young, but, and basically that's why you don't pitch anymore. If you're decent and you get to the big leagues, the only reason you would quit is you can't throw anymore, which in my case, even then, but, uh, you know, it's hard to do. It's hard to get a chance to throw a knuckleball, and it's hard to compete against, you know, the best hitters in baseball. You know, it is really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine if you don't get the right movement on it, then you're just serving up batting practice, essentially.
At best, basically at best. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When I think the first 3 hits I gave up in the big leagues were 2 balls and no strike fastball. So my fastball wasn't working in the Texas League, and it sure didn't work in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, will you pull up the cover again? Because I
Sure.
want to call attention to obviously these speech bubbles that are coming out of your mouth, Charlie. And this is a quote I've seen attributed to you elsewhere. Butterflies aren't bullets. You don't fire them. You just let them go. And I love this synonym because, man, when a knuckleball is moving, it really does. It's mesmerizing. It just floats through
Yeah.
the air. It's kind of dipping and weaving. And do you remember where that nickname came from?
Not really. You know, the butterfly stuff, it's more writers would say that, you know. I just thought of it as the pitch I could throw. You know, the only pitch I could throw that had a chance to get a big league hitter out. So I didn't name anything. I didn't come up with anything. It's just writers when I first started it. And talking about Hoyt Wilhelm and Phil Necro. That came up a lot.
Yeah. I can understand that for sure. So I talked earlier about how you got your start to your career with the Dodgers, but you spent a good chunk of your career here where I am now in Arlington, Texas. And you are rightfully enshrined in the Rangers Hall of Fame and still hold club records like till as of today for wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, complete games. What did you kind of talk about your time in Texas, I guess, if you will?
Well, it was an odd time in my career. I had pitched well for a number of years in LA as a reliever, and then my shoulder was bothering me again. I did not pitch well for like my last year and a half, 2 years there. And the only team in baseball that would take me at that point, I was sold, not traded. They didn't get a player. I was sold to Texas, and it took me about a year and a half to get a chance there even. And when I did, I was throwing good again. And I got a real good first year with it, throwing as a starter. So that kind of kept me in there.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about 1986. I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you remember learning that you were going to be an all-star?
No, I can't remember somebody saying, "Oh, you're going to be on the All-Star team." No, I can tell you this: it was a real thrill.
Okay.
You know, you don't see many knuckleball pitchers get selected for the All-Star team for a number of reasons. It's hard to throw it, but it's hard to catch it, and they don't usually have a catcher that catches a knuckleball on the team. I was shocked, to tell you the truth. I mean, I had some decent years, other years that maybe had a chance to be on it, but no, I was really happy about it. Fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I feel like that's one of the things that you dream about as a kid, especially when you learn you're going to be a big leaguer. It's finding out that you're going to be an all-star and getting to suit up with the best guys in the league. So really special, I imagine.
Yeah, getting to play big league baseball is a ton of fun. And I got to play in 3 World Series with the Dodgers, none with the Rangers, but I got to make an appearance in an all-star game. Totally fun. Yeah.
So you would have played a lot then in Arlington Stadium, which is now 3 stadiums ago here in Texas.
Yeah.
Um, man, I grew up going to that ballpark. I remember thinking that it was a genius who decided to put aluminum bleachers into the seating bowl there. But, the summers here are brutal. They're like intense.
I
And
didn't notice that.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think about these guys that get to pitch indoors now with AC.
Well, I've been in that new stadium.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful. It doesn't look real good from the outside, but it is a beautiful stadium inside. And I imagine playing in there is very nice. Tell you the truth, though, I love playing in the old Arlington Stadium because the fans were right on top of you. It was fun. I mean, a ton of fun in the ballpark, but I can understand why they needed the roof, for the fan, not for the player.
Right.
For the fans to sit there and enjoy the evening and not die in the sunlight there. Yeah, the middle of summer is pretty rough there.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. So before you joined us, Daniel and I were talking about how rumor has it that you are a fan of Elvis Presley. Is that right?
I don't know if it's a rumor. Yeah. I mean, my brother and I kind of grew up with Elvis Presley records, and we got to see him a few times. So, I thought he was a great entertainer, fabulous singer.
Yeah, I love that. There's a family story that my granddad met Elvis Presley at a restaurant in Vegas and sat down and played poker with him. And whether or not that is true, I have no idea, but I'm going to choose to believe that it is.
Well, I never did meet him. I would love to. I was backstage one night in Cincinnati to meet him, and he was late getting on. I never met him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, I know that there are some nods to the king in this cover, and I would like to take a few minutes to have you kind of walk through some of the elements of this design that are poignant.
Sure. I heard that you were a big fan, Charlie. So I don't know if I hid them, but I placed some Elvis nods in there. There's the '68 comeback special, kind of jailhouse rock motif in the back with different moments of your career back there, kind of as stand-ins for the backup in that video. And then the font or the typeface for this is Charlie Hough. That is the same typeface as in Elvis's 1956 album, where it kind of goes down vertical and horizontal at the bottom. So and then of course the king and butterfly king. So a few little nods there just to make it more personal to Charlie.
Yeah, I love that. And then some of the hidden elements, we've got the ERA and 49, obviously Charlie's number, and then below his kind of portrait there in the upper left corner, some more stats.
Yeah, I got some stats and the teams that you play with, Charlie, are there hidden in the barcode there.
Okay. Yeah.
I love it so much. Charlie, what did you think when you saw it for the first time? Did it strike a chord? Did you notice the Elvis connections?
Oh yeah. For sure you see that. And the other thing, I mean, that is pretty cool is I don't look all that bad there. That's a few years ago, that picture.
Well, you look like a superhero, I love that.
At least.
Yeah. And I love that one of the things that's, really sticking out, I think, in this story is recognizing that, maybe your superpower originally was a little different than what you thought it was, but being able to kind of adapt and dial that in and become one of the best to ever throw a knuckleball. So I think that's a really cool story.
Yeah, the cool story about it was the people involved, with my career, the coaching staffs, Tommy Lasorda and the coach that showed me the knuckleball the first time ever, Goldie Holt, was a Dodger minor league coach forever, and how things can change a career. I mean, I was really close to done and going home, and two guys believed in me and gave me a chance. Otherwise, I would have never played.
Yeah. Yeah. Coaches can do that. And after your career, you went on to coach for several years. What are the things that you would look for to see if a guy looked like maybe he had the stuff to be a knuckleballer?
Well, I've actually worked with a number of people coaching, not on my team, but during the winter, see guys, Timmy Wakefield. We lost Timmy last year, year before, R.A. Dickey, spent time with him when he was first starting to throw it. And it's all stuff that I learned from Hoyt Wilhelm and Phil Negro that we've kind of passed on to other guys, and still waiting for another one to get there. We've got a kid in San Diego, not on our team, Dodgers, but I think he's going to be pretty good.
I look forward to it. I miss watching that specialty. You don't see it much anymore.
Yeah.
Like you said, everybody's trying to throw the ball as hard as possible. But for a guy to come in and just make people look foolish really is what it is. I could never get enough of that ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I say, it is really hard to do. And the
Yeah.
toughest thing to convince anybody is the manager of your team. If you're out there throwing a ball 80 miles an hour instead of 100, and you don't pitch well, it doesn't look too good.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, a guy
You
throwing
could
100
get yourself
hit, it's okay. He's throwing hard.
Yeah, exactly. So Daniel, these are available until this is retired on the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming in 3 different options. We've got the regular option, we've got the autographed option, and then the autographed with the inscription, the 86 All-Star inscription.
Right.
So where do folks go if they want to get their hands on one of these?
It is available now, like you said, until Sunday, the May 5th, on popflypopshop.com. I always say grab it before you can't. It retires, and these don't come back. I get emails every week, every single week for years. Can I get this? I missed this. Can I? The answer is no. If you missed it, you missed it. So you've got till Sunday to get it, and grab it before you can't.
Nice. Did we have any good questions come through in the chat here?
Yeah, we've got several here, and thanks for putting your questions in the chat. We've got actually 2 from the same viewer, Johnny Kilroy, and I'd like to ask both of these. He asks, his first question is, sometimes trends evolve and sometimes they age out. For example, bunting. And sometimes what's old is new again. Will this be true for the knuckler? Do you think we're going to be able to see another knuckler in baseball?
Well, I think so. I mean, there's one in San Diego right now, Matt Waldron, and he's pretty darn good. And he's just kind of, I would say, learning how to be a big league pitcher with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, and the reason I say that is the pressure on pitchers today, they're breaking down pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So ball clubs need, instead of a dozen pitchers, they're running through 20 plus pitchers on every team during the season, running guys through because guys need a break. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to start looking for guys with some durability as being able to pitch 200 innings without breaking down. So I think there's a chance whoever does it's going to have to be very good because the hitters are getting better and stronger every year. And like any sport, it gets tougher to play. So I do believe it can happen just because the durability of it.
I love it. I hope we do. Johnny asks another great question, and I hadn't thought about this, but he asked, how much did being from Hawaii play into your success as a player? I'd imagine the ability to play year-round contributed to your love of the game and contributed to your longevity.
Wow, now see, I was born in Hawaii, only stayed there a couple of years. My dad was still in the Air Force after the war. When I was about 3, we moved to Rhode Island. My dad had a printing business, lost the printing business. At 13, we moved to Hialeah, Florida, suburb of Miami. And the question then becomes, I got to play year round.
Yeah.
An older brother. I had a brother a year and a half older. And we played ball every day. I mean, that's all we did. It didn't show up at school all the time, but the thought of not playing baseball would have been really bad.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Charlie. And one last question that I like to ask, your legacy, if you could choose your legacy, what would it be?
Wow. I don't know. I just think somebody that was very average at best, could play as long as I played 29 baseball seasons.
Wow.
So a lot of it is just the desire to stay ready to play and be ready when a manager says, I need somebody to pitch, and do a good job. So my thought is that's the way I tried to run my career out there, is be ready when they want you to pitch. And I pitched a lot of times hurting, but it didn't matter. It was what I could do to get in there. And that's kind of how I ran my whole career.
I love it. One thing that really sticks out to me, Charlie, is just your career and your life. It does read like a superhero story, like those superhero stories that we know and love. It's just an everyday person who is kind of put into a circumstance and has a superpower and is able to do extraordinary things. And
you know about superpower.
I would push back. I think it is a superpower. No one's doing it today. It's a rare thing. And we were talking with Jamie Moyer a couple weeks ago, and kind of a similar trajectory in that he found what worked for him that he could do and not many other people could do, and really just use that as a secret weapon, much like you have, and had also a long career as well. So just really inspiring to spend time with your story and to spend time with you, Charlie. Thank you for sharing this with us. And I love diving into your story this week and making this piece.
Well, I had a really good time, but just thank you for making me look good on the picture. Get rid of a couple of wrinkles. Yeah.
I love it. Charlie, thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. And Daniel, send them one more time. Let's see the cover here.
Trying to. There we go. All right.
All righty. Well, Charlie, cannot thank you enough. We really, really appreciate the time. And I look forward to seeing how well this does. I know it's going to do great.
Thank you. It's fun.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for your time.
All righty.
All right, take care. Wow.
Man. I love that story. I mean, like, what a phenomenal story, just knowing that, like, as humans, I think we sometimes want to copy what everybody else does, and maybe we're not necessarily leaning into our strengths. So to see someone successfully learn what makes him special and what he can do better than most other people, and just make a successful career out of it, I love it. It's my favorite type of story in baseball.
Totally. And this one and the Jamie Moyer piece I did a couple of weeks ago, like these type of stories like really resonate with me just as a person. I didn't really figure out my whole art career and journey until I was after 40 years old. Then it all clicked, and even still, and I say this from time to time, I know that I'm not the best artist in the world. I'm not in the top 100. I'm not in the top 1,000. I'm probably not in the top 10,000. However, I love the challenge of telling a compelling story. And so while there's going to be 10,000 artists who will out-art me, there's no good reason that someone can't out-storytell me. So I really put my pressure on myself to find the story, tell compelling stories. And that's what I would want to be known for. Not Daniel Horine made great art. Daniel made Daniel told great stories. So when I see these athletes, that kind of lean into a sort of certain special aspect and able to do it, later into their age, like I just as a human, as a person, really resonate with that.
Yeah, I mean, it parallels your story perfectly, and I think it's just really indicative of don't give up, right? Like never give up. And it might look totally different than you think it was supposed to, but it'll shake out, and everything will work out the way it was supposed to be. So I
100%.
love that.
Yeah, I thought I didn't.
Cool.
I thought I'd be doing fine arts. I had no trajectory towards the digital stuff at all, and never thought it would be baseball. Always thought it'd be fine arts. So the career is totally different than I would have thought it would have been had I written it 20 years ago.
Yeah, just like a knuckleball.
Yeah, just like a knuckle, and I still can't throw one of those either.
Oh, I've tried so many times, and it just goes straight into the ground, which I know it's not supposed to do. So
No.
awesome. So
Anna, you are on loan here to us from another podcast. Tell everyone who's watching about your podcast.
yeah, sure. So my show is called The Baseball Bucket List, and each week I speak with a different baseball fan, and we talk about how that person fell in love with the game, what their favorite memories are, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list. Like, what are those top 1 or 2 things that they really, really want to do? And so each week I get to hear a different story about how someone became attached to this thing that we all love, and it's the best. It releases every Thursday, and it's anywhere and everywhere you get your podcast. So the Baseball Bucket List podcast.
Awesome. I love listening to it. I got to be on it once, and awesome stuff. So check out the Baseball Bucket List if you haven't already.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, I guess that's a wrap for today. Anna,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you for lending your wonderful insight and your voice to this, and talking with a Texas legend. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I always love getting to talk to these superheroes, real life superheroes, for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's see. I think that's a wrap for us. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, everyone. Remember, you have just 4 more days until the Charlie Hough piece retires, and I guarantee you someone here is going to be sending me an email saying I just missed it, and I'm going to answer you right now. I'm sorry. You're going to get it on the secondary market. So head on over to, you'll see the thing scrolling at the bottom there, popflypopshop.com between now and Sunday, and get it while you get it. Grab it before you can't. There are autographed options, regular options, and pieces that are autographed and scribed with the 86 All-Star from Charlie Hough, available till Sunday. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, all.